not know how bad white people are. They don't know. They have no clue how bad white people are, how racist and evil and supremacist. They have no idea, right? So because immigrants don't know how bad people are, because black immigrants don't know how bad white people are before moving to America, then black mamas and black daddies, they're not equipped to really protect their children if their children are in white schools. When you talk about some of these predominantly white schools, first of all, let's back up. Most immigrant children are not going to predominantly white schools. Greetings. Most immigrant children are not going to predominantly white schools. I went to a predominantly white school because I was smart. It's what they call gifted. I was very, very smart. I am very, very smart. So as a child, I was brilliant as a kid, very advanced. So because I was advanced, then my mom is like, oh, well, great. Let's challenge her. Let's give her something that's going to challenge her. Where do you get the challenge and the best education, the best curriculum? White school. That's where you're going to get the high-level education, the best books, the best teachers, the best curriculum. Black schools that are in impoverished communities, they didn't get that. They didn't have all that. No. But the white schools did. So my mom would send me to these predominantly white schools. That's how I ended up going to private school for most of my life. That's how I ended up at boarding school. Right? Okay, so now back to the understanding of the matrix. Back to understanding that the matrix is a system. The system puts sunglasses on everybody. Back to understanding why, as a child, me not having those sunglasses was scarier, because all the adults in my life have the sunglasses. I don't have the sunglasses. These people who are at this school, even though they're teachers, they have prejudice. They are racist. It's in their bones. It's in their blood. It's in their DNA. They're racist. I can see them. I can see their energy as a kid. They can see me, but they can only see me through their glasses, because they see me, oh, that's just black. They don't see me as a person. But my mom can't see any of it. Why? Because as an immigrant, she was ill-equipped to protect me or even to see clearly, because she hadn't gone through decades and decades of racist whites. She hadn't been exposed to that. That wasn't her reality. She didn't have to deal with that. So do you understand why I said what I said about being at risk when you are without those matrix glasses? When you do not have those glasses, when you do not have those matrix glasses, you are at risk, especially when the people around you are not seeing what you're seeing, when they don't understand what you're seeing. Peace and greetings. Welcome, Karibusana. When you can see clearly, you are at risk. Okay? And a lot of our children can see clearly. A lot of our children can see very, very clearly. And it's unfortunate because the adults around them cannot see anything. This is the conversation that me and my husband are having this morning. This is the conversation of the morning. Okay? Because we don't seem to understand that right now, we think there's a war against a lot of other things. We think there's a war in Palestine, there's a war this, there's a war that. none of that is actually accurate. The biggest war is the war on children. That's the biggest war right now, the war on children. Children being abducted, children being trafficked, children being stolen, children being killed, children being sexually abused. That's the biggest war. That's actually what's happening right now. Children. Are you for the children or are you against the children? That's it. That's the bottom line. For the kids, against the kids. That's it. What side are you on? People who are siding with Diddy, anti-children. If you're siding with a predator, if you're siding with a rapist, that is anti-children. You are anti-children if you are siding with predators and rapists. I remember when I was a teenager and the whole situation with Aaliyah was just, the popularity was through the roof. People were like, oh my God. You know, everybody was talking about Aaliyah. Everybody was talking about R. Kelly. Everybody was talking about Aaliyah. And I remember being so confused because adults around me were speaking about it as if it was okay, as if it were normal, as if it were just an, you know, oh yeah, you know, he's being tried and hello? I'm not feeling outrage. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. You're not feeling the way about that? I remember people saying to me, and this is going to sound wild because even saying it out of my mouth, it's a wild thing to acknowledge. I remember people saying to me that when he then got caught with the 15-year-old, like years later, I remember people saying, oh, she knew what she was doing. Some of these little girls fast. I am constantly in a state of shock about how people will justify these type of abuses, right? You have modern day situations. Let me give you modern day situations. I'm giving this to you specifically, sis, because I know you're not all popular culture. I'm popular culture, quite heavy, but modern day. Okay, recently, Candace Owens, so just follow me here. Candace Owens, the conservative Candace Owens sat down in a some kind of round table with feminists. Like it's like 1 versus 25. 1 conservative versus 25 feminists, right? So she sat down with all these feminists and they were debating various topics, right? Different topics, abortion or should women work outside the home, just different things. And there was one Black woman who sat down across from her to debate her. And when I tell you that Black woman was eloquent, she was intelligent, she was articulate, she was speaking facts, she was making great points. I mean, she was just dynamic. And it was the first time I'd ever seen her. So post haste watching that video, I went searching for this Black woman. I was like, I gotta find her. Found her online and realized that she has been making content around decentering men, exposing men who are toxic, you know, just a whole lot of things. So I was like, yes, let me definitely, connect with her online. I love the content. Only to find out recently, and this is a recent development, recently learning that this woman who is 40, maybe 40 something, late 40s, she is a lesbian and she's in a relationship with another woman, which isn't the problem because live your life, but she's in a relationship with a woman and this woman is about 24 years old, maybe 24. And it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem because this is a person who has often talked about older men preying on younger women and how 25-year-olds, their frontal cortex of their brain is just now developing. Our brain doesn't develop this frontal cortex until a certain time. So that's at 25. And you're a 40, late 40s, dating a 20 something year old, young 20s, whose frontal cortex is not even developed. That's prey. That's prey. That's how you manipulate people. That's an easy, malleable person, easily malleable. It's the same thing for Shannon Sharpe. Again, I know that popular culture. Shannon Sharpe is the NFL commentator, ESPN host, black man, developed this amazing career off of sports commentating and etc. Shannon Sharpe has a podcast. And on his podcast, he's had numerous guests. I mean, guest after guest after guest telling him, hey, Unc, because he's in his 60s. Shannon Sharpe is a maybe mid-60-year-old black man. They keep telling him, Unc, you need to stop dating these young girls. Stop dating these young girls, Unc. Stop dating these young girls. They told him. His podcast guests come on there and they've told him many times, stop dating these younger women at your 65-year-old age, at your big age. Only for him not to listen, only for him to yuck. I like them young, yuck. Okay, now he's paying, how much is it, babe? $50 million to a white girl who is 19 years old because he couldn't get enough, right? You like them young, right? She sued him. She filed a lawsuit against him. I think she was claiming that she had been abused by him in some capacity. And he settled for $50 million. $23 million. And this, after he refused to pay for his daughter's wedding. Let's be clear. Your little black girl, right? You're her daddy. You raised her, you love her, and she is getting married, and it's typical for fathers to pay for the wedding. You got it. Obviously, you got it. You're making millions, but you refuse to pay for your little black girl's wedding, but you have to pay Becky now $23 million because you couldn't leave younger. And it's this guy, there's this recording that I have on my phone of this guy, and I took a screen recording of him doing this because I had a feeling that his content would be erased off of TikTok. I had a feeling, I was like, and people were saying that they were like, hurry up and get this off because they're gonna take this down. But there's this guy who was breaking down some very serious concepts, I will say, on TikTok. And he was breaking down concepts about Trump, about the Roman Catholic system, which really is the Satanist system, about Israel. He was just going on and on and on about a lot of different things. It was very, very, very helpful, very useful, very good content, right? If you want the video, I'm happy to share it with you. Just let me know. He had a concept about law, and the way he broke down the acronym law was like land, air, and water. And then he was talking about these systems. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll see if I can upload it. Just let me know if you want it. Anyways, as he was breaking down these different systems, he first started with the Epstein file, right? And I have to say it because it's like, I didn't really think about this war on children until after that. I think that sparked it first. But he was talking about the Epstein files. And the first thing that he said is, of course, we want to see the Epstein files. Of course, America is going crazy about the Epstein files. Of course, we want to know who's on the list because, and yes, of course, we're invested in this because so many of us went through this as children. Mind blown. So many of us went through this as children. That's what he said. Of course, we want, yeah, of course, Americans are obsessed with, the Epstein files. Of course, Americans, we want to know about who's on the list because so many of us went through that as children. And it's like when he said that, everything just clapped in my mental hemisphere. Everything reverberated, everything clapped. Everything clapped. Because that's not my truth. And it's also not the truth of many of my family members who immigrated to the US. But in immigrating somewhere, you're not really aware of what's going on there. How many times do you research the problems that a country is having before you go visit? Do you really sit down and say, what intercultural problems is this country having before we go visit? You don't say that. You're not looking for intercultural problems. You're not looking for that. But it's a big part of it. It's a big part of it. It's a big part of it. And so this is something that's been taking place for hundreds of years. Like, let us not forget that America was built off the backs of criminals. America was built by criminals, essentially. Like, these people were like excommunicated from their country. At a certain point, there were many criminals sent from Europe to the state colonies, to the United States colonies. Like, this is a country with really, really, really evil roots at its foundation. Of course, child abuse is part of it. Of course, it's part of it. Of course, it's part of it. Okay? I don't know if you've heard me tell this story before, but I don't play about children. I don't play about children. I really don't. I don't play about children. I don't like people doing stuff to children. I don't like people talking crazy to children. I don't like people abusing children. I don't like people, neglecting children. I'm very, very sensitive to all of those things. I don't like that type of stuff. And maybe about 4 years ago, about 4 years ago, there was a lady named Saisha. Saisha was an American Idol contestant. Hi, honey. Yeah, that's not the right. Oh, yeah. No. That's not for the. I sent you the information for the Facebook account. Yeah, it's just that he got access to the Facebook account. Okay, well, yeah, that's for the Gmail. Yeah, but I'm saying when you were writing everything on the document, I was telling you not to put too much information on there that could confuse him. I literally just sent you the Facebook login and no, I told you to take out everything that wasn't the password. No, I was busy, babe. I was busy, babe. Well, maybe you should log into that Facebook and see which one is the right login information. Okay. Holy. Okay, what was I talking about? You made me forget what I was saying, babe. You made me forget what I was saying. What was I saying? I was talking about Saisha. So Saisha, she was an American Idol contestant, and she had a baby, Amin Ra, and her baby was like naturally fed, like holistic, very holistic family. So, fruits and vegetables only type of thing, right? And baby, can you pass me my head thing on the shelf there? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, very naturally fed, holistic baby, all that good stuff, right? So she was trying to wean him off of breast milk, and when she was weaning him off of breast milk, um, he refused to eat anything. He didn't want to eat nothing. So she was like, "Oh my God, he must be dehydrated." So she took him to the hospital, thinking that he was dehydrated. Long story short, they detained her baby. They took her baby away from her, kidnapped the baby. And she was like, well, if they accused her of being neglectful, she was like, no, I'm just weaning him. Um, and then they were like, no, we have to place him in custody, or place him in with a family. And she's like, well, I have a family member who can take care of him. They refused to do that. They put him in a foreign family. This baby was like, maybe 18 months, like he was a baby, walking and couldn't talk. Like it was just really crazy. And so she was freaking out, freaking the hell out about her baby. Like who wouldn't freak out? They had her on some like visitation schedule where she could only see him like once every other week. It was madness. Okay, long story short, everybody started looking. Everybody, all, black mamas, we don't like that type of stuff. Like, in the beginning, we see it and we're not sure how long it's been going on. We see that they took this black woman's baby. We don't know if he's been gone for 6 months, 2 months. So in the beginning, we see it and we're like, whoa, what's going on? But as we start to watch, we start tagging each other. Black women all over Instagram were like, nope, nope, hello, y'all see this? People are being tagged left and right, from celebrities to holistic wellness providers. And the sheer confusion around it is when things like that happen, what do we do? Like, what do we do? We don't know what to do. Like, who do we call? Oprah? Like, what do we do? Essentially, this is one of our children. That's the bottom line. This is one of our kids. And one of our babies has been taken away from his mama, and he shouldn't be away from his mama. And we're tagging each other to rally up support, but really you tag someone and then what do? So there were people dropping advice, contact Child Protective Services. They were, talking about launching a case into the social worker because apparently she had been doing that for some time. And there was just so much buzz around the Saisha situation. But then they took it up a notch. And how did they take it up a notch? We didn't know that Saisha was actually pregnant at the time. And what happened was she had another baby. This was a baby girl, and her name was Ast. And honey, we found out that Saisha had another baby when she went live on her Instagram page when the police had pulled her and her husband over as they were taking their baby home. Pulled her over on the side of the road to come and get her baby. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, I ain't never in my life have I ever seen any person get pulled over on the side of the road, okay, for CPS to come and take their child. I've never seen it. That's new to me. Never seen it. So we're all like, oh my God. And not only oh my God, but hell no. Hell no. Hell no. This one is not happening. So I rallied my group at the time. At the time, I had a small little student circle, a small circle of women who I was doing a sacred spiritual journey with. If you don't know, Goddess Queen Jamila, spiritual life coach. I've been a spiritual life coach for 15 years, and I work with Black women. Okay, I work with Black women who are going deep, who trying to figure out who they are, why they're here, what they're here to do, where they're going, what is the purpose, what is this all about. So I went into my student group and I said, hey, you all, did you see what happened with Saisha? Everybody said, yeah, yes, yep, God's Queen Jamila, we saw what happened. I said, listen, we have to do something. We have to do something. We can't just let this slide. They already took Amin Ra. Now they took Saisha, and I don't play. I don't play like that. So, me and my group of women, we decided to meet every single morning. I think it was maybe like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Every single morning, we would meet for just like 10 minutes. And in that meeting, we didn't talk. We didn't sing. We didn't even chant. We just sat on the meeting and held the intention, closed our eyes, and literally saw the faces of those children and called them back to their parents. We called Amin Ra. We called Ast back to her mother, Saisha. We called these two babies and any babies who have been kidnapped. We call all of our children across the globe who have been kidnapped, who are currently under predatory hands. First of all, we cast nets of protection over our children. We cast nets of protection and safety over our children. We cast nets of protection and safety over our children. That's what we did for 10 minutes every morning. We started maybe on a Saturday. We started, I think, on a Saturday. And we just woke up every morning. Every morning. And we were on the phone for about 10 solid minutes, setting intentions. And do you know what happened? Can I tell you what happened? Okay. What happened was both of the babies came back to their mother. After 3 months? No, not after 3 months. After 2 months? No, not after 2 months. After a month? No, it didn't take us a month. It took us 6 days. 6 days of sitting down and setting intentions together, Black women, and those babies were sent home. Both of them. Both of them. Both of them came home to them after 6 days. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And we weren't all in the same city. I was in Africa. One was in Florida, another one was in Alabama, another was in North Carolina, another was in Georgia. It didn't matter. It did not matter. And this is what I be trying to tell you all. What I be trying to tell you all is we don't have to fight fire with fire. We are primordial beings. We are primordial beings. That means that we are in tune and in sync with the elements of air, fire, water, and earth. We're indigenous. We made all this. We're indigenous. We're indigenous to every land. We're indigenous women. We are indigenous women. We are indigenous women, which means that we don't adhere to the calendars that the Roman Caesar, we don't adhere to that. That's not our calendar. Our calendars are the eclipse, the full moon, the new moon. Our calendars are the summer solstice, the winter solstice, the galactic new year, the Kemetic new year. That is our calendar. The Mayan calendar even has days that's relevant to us as indigenous women. So therefore, we don't have to fight fire with fire. When you're looking at these conflicts and these obstacles and these challenges that are taking place around the world, hell, even within your family, you got issues and challenges taking place within your family. You ain't got to go head to head, toe to toe with these family members. You got to get in and sit with your sisters. You have to sit with other Black women and set intentions. That's why I'm calling you out for Lionsgate. You don't think I haven't? I could be setting intentions myself. I could be sitting and setting intentions myself. It's a portal. That means anything that I say is coming to fruition. It's a portal. It's happening. This is happening. But I'm inviting you. I've been inviting you to sit with me for Lionsgate. Why? Because I'm not selfish. I'm not the type to sit at the table and gobble all the food for myself. I've eaten. I'm good. Let's be clear. When you look at the list of freedom, the things that make one free, I meet the criteria for freedom. I have my own business. I make my own money. I sell courses online. I sell retreats online. People travel to my city where I currently live. People travel from where they at over here to come on vacation. I wake up when I want to. I don't have an alarm clock. I've already done my EMIFA training. I've already been initiated with EFA. I'm a sacred woman practitioner. I already went through the Queen Fua program. I've done it all. When it comes to the freedom checklist, I'm living that. I've never worked corporate. I've never signed a work contract. I skipped over that matrix portion of it. I'm not in that. So at this point, me inviting you to be a part of this portal is less about me and more about you and what you need and what we're doing together. What are we intending together? Because my intention, which is going to be our intention, is always going to be to protect these children. Protect these children. We're casting nets of safety on our children. We are casting nets of safety on our children. We're casting nets of safety on our children. We're casting nets of safety on our children. I'm not sure if you saw the video recently of the Black man whose tooth got knocked out when he got pulled over because his headlights were out. He got pulled over. The police stopped him because not his headlights were out. His headlights were off. Let me be clear. His headlights were off, okay? And when his headlights were off, he got pulled over. The police officer said, "I'm pulling you over because your headlights are turned off and it's raining. It's dark and it's raining." When you look at the video, you can see clearly it's not dark, okay? He told them that he can't open his window. The window was broken. The police officer proceeded to knock out his window, to bash the window in, crack the whole window. The guy is just sitting there. And the police officer cracks his whole entire window. All right. And then tells him to get out the car. He said, "I don't feel safe getting out the car." They said, "Let me see your hands." He put his hands up like there's nothing in my hands. Look at the door. The door is like, let me come in on this note. He put his hands up. It's so windy outside. He put his hands up. There's nothing in my hands. After he put his hands up, the police officer proceeds to punch him in the jaw. Here we go. Woo, Lord. The police officer proceeds to punch him in his jaw. And when he gets out the car, he gets punched again in the jaw. He's not resisting. He's not doing anything wrong. You punching him, locking him up, abusing him. You got 4 officers around him for a broken headlight. Then you have another situation with this young boy, teenager, inside of a gas station who was like selling water, selling roses. You got 2 police officers telling him to get down. Then those 2 police officers escalated. Next thing you know, there's 4 police officers around him. Then they get 4 more police officers, 8 police officers. And this black woman is sitting there watching it. And she's watching everything happening. And she's like, I can just pay for whatever it is. And they're like, no, we got to take him to jail. And this guy, this boy, he's like 18. He's a teenager. And he is screaming for his life, like screaming, crying. You got situation after situation after situation like that. And a lot of times what I understand is that we as black women, we've thought that the way we help our brothers is by coddling them, by helping them, by giving them a leg up, by having grace for them, helping them when they're down. No, our help as black women, it's coming from the spiritual realm. That's our strongest way. That's our strongest muscle. The metaphysical realm. That's our strongest muscle. Just like your grandmother's prayers were your biggest armor, your grandmother's prayers covered you and protected you and kept you. Our strongest muscles as black women is in the spiritual realm. It's not our strength. It's not, I'm a strong black independent. No, that's bogus. That's conditioning. That's something you've been taught to believe. You've been taught to believe that there's merit in being strong. No, baby, that's, no. Okay. So I just want to make it clear again why I am summoning you to the Lion's Gate. It's not about it being a special, time in my life. No, it is a special time in my life. It's the time that I summon all the cosmic, divine, indigenous women together for us to do this work. That's what time it is. So this is Goddess Queen Jamila. I'll see you next time, which is tomorrow.